Hello everybody and welcome back to another video with me, Caster, and in this one we're going to go through starships in No Man's Sky and discuss the differences between each ship type in terms of stats and aesthetics. We're going to go through each one in this video. Now, starships come in 4 different classes. The standard classes for No Man's Sky, your C, B, A and S, your C being the worst, the S being the best. That is the standard type of technology you get. That is a standard scoring system, if you like, and C-class ships are the most common because they are cheap and they are generally basic. And then you get your Bs, which apparently have about 3 inventory slots off the best, and then A has about 1, and then C-class, of course being the best, has the most amounts. But that being said, even though C-class is the best in terms of the class of ship you can get and the amount of weighting that does in terms of stats, things like a hauler will have much more inventory space than a fighter. So there are differences in terms of each ship class. And the first one we're going to go through today is the Shuttle. The Shuttle is my least used ship. In fact, I don't think I've actually owned a Shuttle ship until this very point, and I brought this one for the sake of this video. In terms of aesthetics, I quite like this one because it's got the 2 wings either side, which makes it look neat and tidy, or just a bit nicer. I don't generally like the overall shape of the body, just this round sort of tube. In my opinion, it's the least best looking ship in the game, and they do come in some varying, there's none in here at the moment, but shuttles have been coming in and out of this space station. They come in some kind of awkward shapes as well, which I don't particularly like. They are a middling range ship, in my opinion. And if we have a look at the stats here, so if you put technology in here, you upgrade it as you would any other ship, it will be a decent ship. You will get good maneuverability, you will get good hyperdrive, shield strength, and if you have the right tech, you'll get very good damage on it. But for me, it's just not my ideal ship. Some people love them, and that's fine. This is a game. You like whatever ship you like, and you use whatever you want. That's what it's all about. For me, not my favourite at all. So here is the inside of the shuttle ship, and it looks pretty good in here. It's okay. It's feels a bit cramped to me, but it's fine. I don't generally use this, so this is actually a bit of a new experience for me. Generally speaking, it's okay. Next up, we'll have the Explorer ship. This is one I picked up before this episode as well. I have used Explorers before, and in the latest expedition, Expedition 16, the Cursed, you use a Explorer ship as your basic starship. If we go into the Nemesis ship here, as so it's called, go into the cockpit, you'll see that this is what the cockpit looks like. It's rounded, it's okay, it's nice and neat inside. I like the view from the cockpit itself. In terms of the aesthetics, this one's okay. Again, it's a mirror image either side. It's nice to look at. You can get them a bit more compact than this. Again, it's not my favourite looking ship. They're okay. They're nice enough. But for me, not my favoured, to be perfectly honest with you. In terms of stats, the ship itself, it has very good hyperdrive range, or at least it does for the bare minimum. Normally that's what the explorers focus on, to get from one system to the other, exploring, of course. But again, if you put enough good tech in here, it will be a decent starship. But if you're looking to really punch that hyperdrive and explore, then maybe an explorer ship is the one you're looking for. Next up, we have the fighter style starship, and this is my customized fighter ship, Mirror of the Endless Warp. I didn't name it, it was already named. And I like the aesthetics of all the fighter ships. They look cool in my opinion, the fighters. You can get different wings for these. Obviously if you do customize your own, you can get different engines and things. But generally speaking, these look better in my opinion than the Explorer or the Shuttle. They have a nice pointed nose, they're good. Maneuverability is going to be good here, so is damage potential and shield strength. Hyperdrive range is probably going to take a little bit of a hit, but generally it will be okay. More of a middling hyperdrive range in terms of the general or base stats you're going to get with it. But if you pick it up and you put a load of tech in there, again, it's going to be fine. You'll have a lot of storage space, not as much as a hauler, but you'll have a lot nonetheless. It's probably the most popular type of starship, I think, and some people have said it's the best looking, but that of course is down to individuality. Next on the list is the hauler. This is one I picked up today as well. A big old chunky ship this. I like the wings either side, but I do not like that frontage. I mean, it's different. It's very different, and that's what you get. Sometimes you get differences in looks in terms of ship type, and I actually like the ones that have the circles in the wings that look like they're sort of pulsing around. That's my favourite kind of hauler type. Now the hauler in general is going to have a lot more inventory than most other ships, and it's very good to have one of these in part of your fleet and just use it as sort of like a storage junker. So I've heard that some people don't generally put a lot of tech in here. They just summon them in, fill them up with stuff, and then summon them back when you're on your freighter or whatever. And that's a really good way of using these things. They're not going to be very good in terms of maneuverability. They're not going to be very good, or at least they're not the best for fighting in. And they are going to be the most expensive as well. If you get an S-Class one of these, it's going to cost you 150 million units, you know, give or take. So it's good. They are quite expensive, and that's because the price of any ship goes off of the cargo and the class. So if you have an S-Class hauler ship, it's going to have a lot of cargo, and if that cargo is full of all, you know, all slots are open to you to put cargo in there, it's going to cost you a lot of units indeed. One other thing that it is quite good at is shield. It will have decent shield if you actually have one in here. It will have a decent shield on it to protect you from the fighters, because it's not very good at fighting, so it will need that shield to ensure that you try and stay alive in your hauler ship. Next up we have a solar ship, and this is where things start to get a bit more individualized towards each ship. So a solar ship, this one here, has sails on it, which you can only have on a solar ship, a Vesper sail, and this adds to your boost, your pulse drive, fuel efficiency, automatic recharging of the pulse drive, and maneuverability. This one has plus 11%, and this solar ship is going to be very good with maneuverability as well. So it's going to be a good ship if you want that, and the aesthetics of it. I mean, if you have a look at those solar wings there, the solar things coming off the ship in the right hand corner, they do look pretty cool, don't they, when they open up. It's got a good animation as well. If we head out here, you'll see the wings unfold. Out comes the Vesper sail, and you've got a really cool looking ship. Now these can generally be found in every system you go to, but they are most likely to be found in outlaw stations. That's the best place to find them. As outlaw stations or outlaw systems, if you go to a trading outpost in an outlaw system, that's where I found my S-Class solar ship. You'll be able to pick them up there. They're not too bad in terms of expense, but I think the cargo and the technology slots are roughly the same as a fighter. Please do correct me if I'm wrong there. But yeah, solar ship, very good looking, different in terms of aesthetics, and yeah, I quite like the solar ship. It's very nice. I like the way they all fold in on each other, and it looks nice and neat when you park it there as well. Now probably one of my favourite ship types in the game is up next, and that is the exotic starships. You get these in different variations. This one here is kind of my favourite looking exotic ship. You get the little small ones as well, which are called guppies. You get squid ships, which look really cool, but this is my favourite in terms of style. Now these can be found in any star system. I think a 3-star economy system is the best one to find these in, and when you do find them, either crashed or in a space station, you will get the same aesthetic type. So if I was to find this one in this specific system, you would only find this type of starship. Yeah, so it wouldn't be a guppy, it wouldn't be a squid, it would just be this type. I was quite lucky when I found Begot of Souls. It is an S-Class. I do like the ship, even though I haven't put any extra tech in it. I will do eventually. And they are an all-round decent starship, whether it's damage, shield, hyperdrive, or your maneuverability. The exotic ship is an all-round good ship, and that's why I generally quite like it. It's not going to have as much storage slots as the hauler, but it will have enough, that is for sure, especially if you're using the hauler as a sort of like a drop-in storage container. So yeah, one of my favourites in the games, the exotic starship there. Now, moving swiftly on to one of the probably weirdest looking spaceships in No Man's Sky, but definitely not the worst, is the living ship. Living ships are acquired a bit differently to any other ship in the game. You have to go and acquire a void egg from the Quicksilver companion in the space anomaly, and you have to go through the void egg missions, and it takes like a week to do because you are spending time waiting around for this. I have done videos on how to get a living ship if you want to get one, and not only does it take that long to get one, they do look good inside, by the way. Let's have a look at the interior. They do look pretty cool inside. Definitely living ship style here. I like it. I do like it a lot. The actual technology is different as well. You don't use the standard technology you would for any other starship in the game. You get sort of a scream suppressor. I mean, these things are organic technologies, and the only way you can get the upgrades for them, or even get the inventory slots in the starship, is to send out frigate missions on your freighter, and they come back. This is organic frigates only. They come back with items that you can install into your tech, or that open up the cargo slots here, and then you can evolve them into S-class by using nanites. So if you get a C-class one, you can evolve them 3 or 4 times, or 3 times even, and that will then give you an S-class one. So if you've got enough nanites, that's an easy way to do it. Now, in terms of charging this technology, it is not the same as normal starships, which is normally things like uranium, starship fuel, trinitum, etc. for normal starships. You actually have to use pugnum mordite or dihydrogen for the scream suppressor. You then have to use oxygen mordite or condensed carbon for the neural assembly, and you use chromatic metal, processed meat, or living slime for the singularity cortex. So it's a different kind of starship. They are very, very good in terms of what they can offer you. They are a good all-rounder, a bit like the exotic ships. They'll give you good everything as long as you get the right upgrades, of course, which is more difficult to get than any other starship. But it is worth getting one if you like the look of them, if you like the idea of having a living ship as part of your ship collection. So yeah, not found in the wild, a bit different, a bit out there, but definitely worth it. Next on the list is my most used starship in the game, and that is Interceptor or Sentinel starships. These can only be found in dissonant systems on dissonant worlds. They will only be crashed starships, but they will not be broken like you find regular normal starships or exotic ships or whatever it is in normal planets. One thing I really like about these is the aesthetics. I mean, you get different versions of this. This one is the one I've had for a very long time. I really like the look of it. I also like the animation, as well as the inside there. As you saw, I jumped into the ship. The cockpit is my favourite cockpit so far in the game. And if we go to third person and we fly out, we can see the animation there is fantastic, and it opens out into this sort of winged starship. It looks absolutely fantastic. Also, you'll get lots of storage in this starship. You will have different technology. So, for example, a luminance engine is the pulse engine, but you still use the same upgrades you would as if you were in a normal starship. Very, very good starship. And in terms of stats, it's a good all-rounder as well. I mean, maneuverability, you can definitely punch that up. Hyperdrive range is off the scale, and damage potential is good. Shield strength is probably where it lacks, but obviously, as you can see, I have X and not S-class, so that could be punched up. But even at this kind of stats, I'm not dying on permadeath mode in this starship. Now, last but not least, on the list of starships are the expedition reward ships. Now, the one in front of us here is the Boundary starship, the Boundary Herald. And this is the latest one. If you complete Expedition 16, The Cursed, which ends on Wednesday, I'm recording on the Saturday before, you'll be able to claim this starship for 3,500 nanites in your normal save. Now, these come with some different things, right? So it's going to be a great all-rounder. It will always be an S-class. This one came with Polo figurine, which according to the No Man's Sky app gives you +8 damage in terms of your weaponry. and it's given me the golden Starship trail, which will give me added maneuverability. And there's a certain configuration you can do with all the trails and all the figurines, which I'll do a video about in the future. And it makes your maneuverability just unbelievable. But it came with all of these items in here in terms of technology. I didn't put these in, they were already here. We got the indium drive, we've got the A-class emergency warp unit, and then we've got 2 S-class hyperdrives to go with the hyperdrive. We've got some upgrades, launch auto charger and efficient thrusters for the launch thruster. We do have the weapon, which is not very powerful, but we have the phase beam. So it's come with these items in here, and I think the look of this is the most radically different looking ship apart from the living ship in the roster, in my opinion. Obviously it looks like a throw to Millennium Falcon, doesn't it? But it's a very good looking ship, and even the way it flies is a bit different, where you can sort of tell it's not as maneuverable as, say, the exotic ship, but it's still maneuverable enough. And the way it sort of pans round, it gives you that sort of sci-fi feel. And I like the engines as well. They're different to any other Starship in the Starship collection. So yeah, really liking the Boundary Herald. There are others as well, which I'll quickly run through. So there is the Utopia Speeder. If you complete the Expedition Utopia, I can't remember what number that is now, my apologies, you will get the Utopia Speeder. And if we go into it here, I really like this Starship. Very maneuverable. The inside is like a standard sort of fighter Starship, but it will give you, look at the maneuverability already. You can actually have more upgrades in this Starship in terms of the maneuverability upgrades, the pulse engine upgrades, than you can in other ships. So it gives you more, obviously, ability to be able to be better in terms of maneuverability. The damage is okay. A hyperdrive at the moment in this is nowhere near anything because I've only got a hyperdrive. I haven't put any upgrades in this. And the shield strength is okay. When we fly this thing, it's very nice. It's so much more maneuverable than the Boundary Herald. You can tell it is, and when you fly it, I like flying this low across planets. It gives it a nice sort of speeder feel. So yeah, really like that one. The next expedition ship is the Golden Vector. I cannot remember which one you get this in. Is it Cartographers? I can't remember which one it is you win this out of, but this is a ship that I have used quite a bit actually, and I do really like it. Again, very good in terms of maneuverability and damage strength. It is a fighter ship. That's what it is. It's sort of an overclocked fighter ship, if you like. Again, maneuverability on this thing is very nice. I like the look of it. It's very sort of small and looks like it's hard to hit, even though that isn't a thing in No Man's Sky. But generally speaking, I love the look of this thing. Very, very nice indeed. But the other two ships that I do not have the Iron Vulture, and I do not have the Starborn Runner. They are expedition rewards from 2 expeditions this year that I was unable to do because I was off of YouTube at the time. But I'm going to try and get those. Hopefully they'll be in the redos, which start in November. So if you don't have any of these expedition starships, No Man's Sky does redos of expeditions from November going on to the Christmas period. So November into December, where you'll have a chance to redo the expedition and get the rewards from those expeditions. And in some cases they'll have the ones where they have the starships in them. So very, very good to go and do those expeditions. You get many, many different rewards for doing them, like the Boundary Herald out of the one that's currently going on. But the Iron Vulture and the Starborn Runner look absolutely fantastic in terms of ships. I've seen them in the Anomaly loads of times, and they look absolutely fantastic. So there you go, guys. That is your video all about starships. I hope that helped you in some way, or you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe for more No Man's Sky content. Other video games will be coming in the future. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and bye bye.